Hey everyone, so good to see you guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. There has been some weird, chaotic energy in the air that I've been trying to shift this morning and kind of work my way out of. So I set up some more time for myself to do some healing and have a little bit of quiet time so I could ground and really be fully present in this session and make good contact for your kids and bring through all the messages that you guys need. I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes to allow for some other mamas to get on if they are going to join us. Very exciting news. Today, we are opening enrollment to the Aligned Mamas Mentorship. I'm so excited. This has been a passion project of mine in the works for probably 6 months now. And to finally have it come to fruition, it just feels so good. And feeling into the energy of the group, it's going to be really beautiful and supportive and healing and just super purposeful. If you're feeling called to work with me, this is a great opportunity to do it. It's in a group setting. You'll have a beautiful sense of community support as well as support by me one-on-one. There will be live sessions every week, live healings, live readings, and then you'll get some beautiful emails from me to start the week off with beautiful focuses. And I'm going to share with you the intimate details of how I work through life as an intuitive, and I'm going to share those tips and tricks with you that I've found really helpful. And then I hope to help you guys to find your guides and really make those intuitive connections for yourself so you can move forward feeling really empowered. So, if you're interested, that is up live on alignedmamashealing.com right now. Okay. And let's start. Okay, Amy, I see that you're here, so I'm going to start with you first. This way you can ask me any questions when I am done kind of going over what came to what came through for your daughter. Immediately, oh, you know what? I'll read your question too. Sorry, so that we can give some context. Okay, Amy, I have a question about my older daughter, Abigail. She currently has molluscum bumps on her and has had them for over a year. I recently did a meditation for her and tried to help her body recognize the virus and fight it to clear it. I know that they will go away with time and are meant to be something to worry, not meant to be something to worry about too much. But I'm wondering if there's any messages on if my healing meditation helped her body with this process, or if there's anything else her body may need to help her clear these bumps when we may see them go away. Okay. So I love that you are bringing meditation into this to help heal and move through this. The molluscum bumps for me, they immediately showed me the liver. Any kind of rash or skin disorders usually come from the liver. And why I say that is because your skin actually acts as a filter very similarly to your liver. Your liver is the filtration system of your entire body. It catches all of the toxins, anything that you've breathed in from ingesting, absorbed through your skin. It goes all the way down to the liver. This is where we keep it safe from entering our blood, our heart, or any other systems that may not be able to handle the toxins or the toxicity levels. The thing about our liver, though, is that it can only hold so much before it starts to need to lean on other outlets for releasing these toxins. The way that our liver will do it in some bodies is use the skin as a form of releasing these toxins in a safe way so that it's not going into your blood system, so it's not causing major organ failure or organ issues. The hard part about this, and I'm speaking from experience because I've dealt with major eczema, is that it can cause skin rashes, strange bumps, and it can be really uncomfortable, but it's also a beautiful indicator, and it's such a wonderful message that your liver is sending you, or in this case, your daughter. So, what I would say for her is that you'll need to boost her immune system. And what that looks like for me and the tools that I know work is bringing in zinc, B12, vitamin C, and lemon balm. These are called foundational supplements in the medical medium community. They help heal, they help kill off any of the viruses and bacteria that are living in our systems, and they also help support the function of the liver and our immune system. They were also sharing with me that she could utilize cat's claw, and offering cat's claw in the afternoon is when it's going to be at its highest strength. So I usually wait until literally 12 and then I'll give it to my kids two times in the afternoon, once in the afternoon, once in the evening. They were also sharing with me large doses of golden seal would be really beneficial to her right now. My daughter is going through an ear infection flare up, and golden seal is one of those herbs that should be pulsed. So give it 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But in those 2 week periods, you can really make it work for you. You don't necessarily have to give small doses, but I was giving my daughter, who's 50 pounds, I was giving her 3 dropperfuls 4 to 5 times a day. And I was giving it probably every 2 hours because this ear infection started to get kind of bulbous on the side of her face. This is something that's been reoccurring for her. And when she eats foods that trigger these flare ups, I know how to recognize it and I try to catch it really early before things get worse, because they certainly can if I don't act quickly. So golden seal in a high dosage could be really helpful for her. They were also sharing if you reduce the fats in her diet and also reduce any inflammatory foods, including grains, what that looks like for medical medium is removing dairy, eggs, soy, gluten, corn, canola oil, any caffeines, chocolate, and then also reducing fats. I think the reducing fats factor was probably the most important of the two, because it feels like she also needs the space to be able to absorb the supplements and the vitamins in order for her body to use them. It feels like there might be a ratio there that's a little unbalanced in the fat. So by reducing the fat, you can actually increase the absorption of the nutrients. They were also sharing wild blueberries, utilizing the heavy metal detox smoothies. There's some really beautiful ingredients that can actually mineralize the entire system and support the immune system and strengthen it. Chaga, reishi, these are all things that can be put inside of the smoothie. The dragon fruit, citrus is going to be really helpful for her right now. Asparagus and Brussels sprouts. My kids, I know it sounds really strange, but my kids love both of these very much. I just served Brussels sprouts to them last night, and it was like a 2 pound bag of Brussels sprouts, and they went through the entire bag. It was unreal. So I just chopped them up thinly. I put them on a tray, and then you can glaze it in maple syrup. I added fresh garlic, a little bit of salt, and then toss it all together, stick it in the oven, allow it to bake. And then when it comes out, it's kind of crystally, sweet, salty, crunchy, and it's something the kids really adore. So you could try something like that for her too, just to make it exciting and enjoyable. Amy, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, you can turn your screen on and you can ask me any questions that you might have. If not, no worries. I hope that this information is helpful for you. As far as the meditation goes, you are 100% in the right place and don't stop. She is giving me a full yes. What you're doing for her through the meditation is healing. It's very beneficial to her and she really enjoys it. She loves that you're doing this for her and it brings her um it's almost like she's really joyful, but she's also really, really proud of you for utilizing this as a tool because this isn't something that we are given entering this world, this side of healing, but know that this is something that she deeply needs and that you are following your intuition correctly and using these tools for her.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Just one question.
Mhm.
So cat's claw and golden seal, I need to kind of look into. I'm not familiar with them, but as
Mhm.
far as like the zinc, B12, vitamin C, and lemon balm, do you have like a multivitamin that you recommend that's good for the kids? Or do
That's
you tend to do that all through food?
No, that's such a good question. Okay, so I love the company Vimergy, Vimergy. They come in tincture forms, except for the vitamin C, but all of these come in liquid tincture forms that are alcohol free. The alcohol tends to denature the energetics of the plant matter. So I like to use ones that are alcohol free. This company only sells ones that are alcohol free because this company is really high vibe and they're very aware of that. I usually will create there's two ways I'll do it for my kids. I'll put it in their morning. We do lemon water and then I do a little maple syrup in their lemon water to start the day. This is when I pack in all of their vitamins. I'll even mix in the capsules of vitamin C. I just open them up and put them in and then mix them together. And then they know that this is something that they need to finish in the morning time. If a glass of water is too much for your daughter, then you could move down into like a shot glass size. And then at this point, you can put these vitamins into a juice that she really enjoys, mix it all together, and then make it a fun thing that she can drink. If you can do it up to 4 and 5 times a day, every few hours, that's great. If she's going to school, then maybe you can add it to her water and create some sort of like I just really enjoy the a squeeze of lemon or lime and then a little bit of maple syrup and then you can hide in any of these supplements into their water bottles.
Okay.
The
Thank you.
multivitamins are, I wouldn't recommend a multivitamin only because you can't ensure the best quality there in a multivitamin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did that help?
Yes, it did. And I've
Okay,
actually just in the past week seen it. It seems like it's starting to clear up a little bit. So maybe
good.
the healing meditation is working a bit, and then I'll add in some of these other recommendations.
Totally. Yeah, and this Vimergy company also sells cat's claw and golden seal. So if you are interested in kind of exploring those two, you can do so through that company. Um, you can also Google cat's claw and medical medium. He has some of the most beautiful, divinely sent information about herbs and using plants in healing. So I would trust his resources. Pretty much above all else, only because I've had such a really beautiful experience with it with myself and my children.
Okay.
All right, Amy, you're doing such good work. It just makes me so happy to hear of all the beautiful things you're doing for your daughter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep it up. Okay. And I see Annie is on here. So, Annie, I'm going to move to you next. So, I just did a child's body and soul session with Annie's son. She's this so after she booked with me, she inquired about this question and her son Liam is having a hard time sleeping at night. He also he's also afraid of like cartoons or characters. He kept showing me faces that he might be afraid of. And she's wondering how she can help support him in sleeping in his own bed and maybe not being so fearful of these things. Liam told me in his session is that he is a peacekeeper. He vibrates on a frequency that is higher than most people do on Earth, or even most things do on Earth. Because of this, he has a strong aversion to things that invoke sadness or fear. And so I think that this is where I can insert a story of my own because he felt like this might be really helpful for you. Is that as a kid, I couldn't watch sad movies. And when I'm telling you sad, I mean not like really sad, but just moments of sadness. Charlotte's Web, when she said goodbye to her spider babies, was like an absolute no for me. Like I could not watch her say goodbye to her children or her babies because that just killed me as a child. And I would watch it and cry. Homeward Bound, when the dogs left their home. I don't even remember the movie because I don't watch it anymore because I still don't like sad movies. I would sit there and cry, and my aunt and my mom say that I would just watch the movie in absolute tears. There was a book called Duck's Moving Day, and he moved away from his neighbor friend, and my family would read this book to me, and I would cry the entire time. Um, Dumbo. My sister's favorite movie growing up was Dumbo. And it just killed me that the mommy couldn't be with Dumbo physically. And all she could do was fit her trunk through and touch him and cradle him in that way. That was a no go for me, too. It feels like he is very much like this as well. So, what doesn't seem to be a very big deal in other people's eyes actually feels like a really big deal to him. And it feels like it's just taking over his entire emotional being. It, he's showing me that he's actually, I would say, a feeler. And in the way that he connects to his intuition, the way he receives messages is very much on a physical level, but also like a very emotional level. And this is something that for you as a parent, you can be aware of for him, knowing what these movies are about, or just kind of thinking ahead in a way that you could best support him. If cartoons or little figures cause fear, then just remove them and wait a little while. My son also was afraid of anything that sung a lullaby, not necessarily with words, but just the song. There were toys that were twisty, and the song came out, and my son would cry. The sound of a sheep, my son would cry. So, all of these things we actually hid. And now he looks back and he laughs at 6 years old. But at the time, these were very real emotions for him. And those things were too sad. So we had to remove them and just kind of support him the best way we knew how. The sleep factor, sleep is very vulnerable. Our energy body is most present at this time while we are sleeping, and this can bring feelings of fear because we are so vulnerable. He's also so connected to his I want to say to like his past life and to the universal energy that he has this innate sense and awareness of what is going on around him. Right, negative entities also know that we're asleep, we're vulnerable, and this is when they do a lot of their movement is at night. And I'm not saying this to invoke fear in you. I'm just bringing this into your awareness because this is in his awareness. It does not mean that your house is haunted. It doesn't feel like there's any negative entities or spirits there. It just feels like he has a knowing, And this is why he seeks additional comfort during this time. It doesn't feel like there's an immediate resolution for him sleeping in his own bed, but it does seem like you can elevate the frequency of his bedroom through some beautiful tools that I've used to do this with my own children because I have sensitive kids and I've experienced similar things with them. Creating a crystal grid with rose quartz is number one. That one really helped us. Putting rose quartz in all four corners of the room and then setting one either underneath their mattress or underneath the bed. Make sure that you are removing these crystals monthly, recharging them and clearing them outside. Another one is visualizing the room as if it were filled with golden light. This is what feels best for him. He wants you to visualize that the light is actually coming down from the heavens and as if it's showering every single part of his room, the walls, the floor, his clothes, his dressers. It's actually shining through his bed. And then this light goes down into the earth's core and becomes grounded. And then the negative energy is transmuted. This allows the frequency of the room to elevate. Another thing that he's asking you to do too is to use sacred smoke to cleanse the entire house, not just the room, by moving in a clockwise motion 3 times. Make sure that before you burn the sacred smoke, open a door or a window, and then start setting the intentions of elevating the frequency that's in the house altogether. And you can repeat, I'm filling this house with love and light. You can also start to call on your guides or your angels to come help and bring support for you. A beautiful support that I usually use while cleansing is the angel of light. I will call on her out loud. Angel of light, can you please come here? Help me cleanse this house and help me elevate the frequency. Angel of love, please help me fill this home with loving energy and help me transmute any of the negative energy. These two things are going to be really beneficial in watching his energy kind of shift and feel a little more confident in his room space. Let me see if there's anything else that he wants to share before I ask you. He's showing me there's like a stuffed animal or a toy in his room that he doesn't like. It's all how do I explain it? It feels fluffy, like almost like a teddy bear, but it's wearing maybe glasses or a mask. There's something a little industrial feeling about this toy, and he's asking if you could please take it out of his room and maybe just get rid of it altogether and give it away. This this toy in his room is actually lowering the frequency in his room, and you might just do a scan with him or ask him, do you want to keep this toy or should we donate this toy? That might be really beneficial for him feeling like he has some control over the frequency in his environment too. Okay, Annie, do you have any questions? Does that help? I'd love if you could take your microphone off mute. I can answer
Yeah, it
questions.
totally does help. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd have to ask him about the stuffed animal because we actually don't I'm actually he doesn't have his own room yet.
Mm.
He has his own bed. And he still doesn't want to sleep in his bed, but we don't have I'm actually in the room right now and I'm looking around and I don't see any stuffed animals here, but he definitely has stuffed animals and toys or whatever. So I'd um have to see and maybe do as you said, walk around with him and just ask him like which one um he's afraid of. When you said it, immediately what came to mind was we have this and it's actually not his dad had won it for me at like a fair carnival, and it's a Frankenstein, but it's all the way up on top though. It's not like in his view, because it's on top of my bookcase. And I wonder if it's that. Since
Yeah.
that's
So
the one
just
that
to
came to my mind, I'm feeling that it's probably that one. And it's actually not his. So maybe it's that one. Because all his other ones are like, like a bunny or, things like that. Nothing that's like scary looking. And right now he's into superheroes. So like Spider-Man and things like that, he plays with and he likes. So I don't think it's those guys.
no. So just to give you confirmation, he gave me full body chills when you said the Frankenstein. So yes,
Yeah,
that is what he's
it's that
referring
one.
to. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and that's not even in the room though. That's out in the living room. So, but we'll get rid of it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I mean, I already feel like it's gonna be, a doozy to try to get him into his own bed. It's gonna be hard. I mean, we're supposed to be moving to a two-bedroom, in the next few months, so he'll have his own room, and I think then it'll be easier for me to do all these other things of like the grid and well, the visualization. I could do that now, but like, setting up his room in a way that's very like high vibe and very like warm and cozy, because he's very much about that. I mean, as you know, he's just very like, he just likes nice things. He, even if it's like on television, or one time we went out to eat and there were this group, a large group of people, and there was one person that, I mean, I don't know any other way of saying this, but she was not very attractive, and he couldn't even look at her.
Mhm.
So it's to like, to that degree. He doesn't like being in the dark. He's afraid of the dark. And he has said like, oh, the monsters, or like when we're in bed, if he sees like a shadow or something, he'll say like, one time he said, oh, look at the eyes, and I'm like, okay, so I know he's seeing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very, very special person. He's a really special soul.
Mm-hmm.
The work that he's here to do is really incredible. This is not going to be necessarily an easy thing for you as a mother for him, because
Yeah.
he's going to require a lot of special support. That's the best way I
Mm-hmm.
can say it.
Mm-hmm.
But know that he chose you because he knows that you're fully capable and that you're strong enough to, it's almost like you're going to have to create a path for him. You're not going to be able to
Yeah.
follow any other path that's been created before him. This is going to be
Right.
all new for everyone around him.
Yeah, 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 totally. Yeah, I can already sense that. And it's very beautiful. But I just want to add in, the reading that you did, it was so beautiful to hear his soul and what he's done and what he's come to do. It was, yeah, like full body chills too.
I love that. Such good. It just feels so good when you can receive those messages, and the chills are just great confirmation. It's just
Yeah.
validation that his soul is really speaking to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for the work that you
You're
do,
so
and
welcome.
yeah, and for connecting with him.
You're so welcome, Annie. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. And I'm going to jump over to Shayla. Okay. I will read what Shayla wrote in. Shayla wrote, I don't really have a specific question. I just want to see if anything comes through for how to best support their soul's purpose. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little background on Shayla. Shayla is, she has a beautiful Instagram. She supports a community of mothers through this Instagram. Her handle is Hey Shayla. She is also a family friend of ours, and she has a podcast where she brings on many different kinds of figures who are in the realm of supporting mothers and helping support children. We just had an interview together. So, this is her first time stepping into the intuitive realm. And so, I was able to give her a beautiful reading on her podcast. So look for that on Hey Shayla. But now she's kind of curious about her own children. Okay, so her oldest daughter, she came through really clearly, Shayla, and she she just immediately started talking and she said, even though I'm the oldest, please allow me to be a kid for as long as I can be. Soaking in the magic of childhood is foundational to my work on earth. I will pull from these memories as I am older for this inspiration and comfort and healing. She was almost showing me like she's going to be able to, boy, it's really unique, but it's almost like she's time hopping. She's actually going to be in the present, but she's going to be able to jump back in her consciousness and tap into these times where she felt so joyful and so held and supported. And then she's going to be able to kind of pull out of that and then come into this older version of herself and use that energy frequency because she will have fully been able to step into it and embody it. And then she'll be able to move forward in this energy frequency. Um, the magic and joy in childhood is a path I could choose to pursue. By helping others to understand this magic is tangible even as adults. This essence is merely a mindset, a visual perspective of the life around us. We should use the joy and freedom that children have and embody it ourselves. And then she just showed me an image of herself jumping and skipping and hopping and just kind of like the most joyful version of herself that she could possibly be. She just feels so free and happy and really, really loved and supported. So, what you're doing now is exactly what she needs. And as you continue to bring in more souls into your life, just always remember that this essence of joy and the purity of being a child is really important to her work ahead. Now, this work to me felt like I don't want to limit it by saying a therapist or a psychiatrist. It's something more. She does something really deep. And I feel like she's certainly a healer. And she being able to access these feelings is going to be able to help activate these feelings in the people around her, whether those are clients, her life partner, her children, even maybe you. She's got a really beautiful gift that she's going to be able to use in this world. Okay, and as for the baby, Hesme, she is she's really strong. She's very strong and capable. She says, don't underestimate me. She is going to need you to support her in her curiosity. She will likely be the one to make the messes and tear the house apart, but know that this is her curiosity, her exploration, and just her observation of how it all works. So, what she's asking you to do is to ground and center yourself when she moves into these phases. And it may feel completely overwhelming to you because you're trying to balance motherhood and then some little child is tearing your house apart. And she just shared with me this image of Clancy. Clancy got into the flour at grandma's house and she took this entire 3-pound bag of flour and brought it into a room and she grabbed it and she threw it everywhere, all over the curtains, the bed, the dressers. The entire room was white. And it feels very much like your daughter has a similar curiosity that Clancy does. Clancy is hands down going to be the kid who's going to be the first one to find the things you don't want your kids to find. She's the reason why we put all the locks on our cabinets. She's the reason why we use non-toxic products because she's going to be the one that experiments with it what does this taste like? What does it feel like when I put it on my skin? What does it do when I put it over here? And what if I flush it all down the toilet? All of these things, she's very observant, and she's going to be the one that kind of sits back to watch what's happening. But in doing these, in the process of exploring, she's also learning so much. It feels like she also could be fairly new to a physical form. It feels like her soul is not used to being able to like do this. Even this is mind blowing to her. But the reason why she might feel more pulled to getting into things and really experiencing them is because she's not had a lot of chances to do this, not a lot of opportunity to explore things in such a physical way. So this is part to bring back that joy piece of childhood. This is something that brings her tremendous amount of joy, is creating messes, kind of watching the chaos unfold. And if you can create so what she's showing me is that you might need a sandbox, and then she can make a mess in the sandbox, and she can filter the sand and watch as it falls and throw it out of the sandbox and really experience messes in a place where you feel like it's acceptable or feel like you can handle, so that you're not just, this is where the balance comes in, right? As a mom, you want them to be able to pursue what's the most supportive for them, but also you have to do what's most supportive for you as well, because you can't do this at the expense of yourself and you're going to just lose your mind. So finding a way to harness that curiosity and that exploration is what's going to be really helpful for you. Tips that I can share with from a mom with a child who's curious is art has been very helpful. Painting keeps her I don't want to say focus, because it's not the focus that we're needing, but it keeps her curiosity really like I mean, like as she's painting, it feels like she's really fulfilling that need for curiosity. She's watching the paint come off of her paintbrush, and as it moves, she's watching what shapes she can make and where does it go. I put a huge butcher paper, like I cover the entire kitchen table with butcher paper, and I'll tape it down on one side and then I put it down on the other side. So the entire kitchen table is there and ready for them to explore, paint, draw, color, whatever they want to do on the table. I just don't do glitter. um, but I get out the glue. I'll let them use whatever they're feeling like they want to explore. If we have empty boxes, I mean, we did this yesterday. They bring the boxes in, they'll paint the boxes. If we have the packing, whatever it is, the little bubbles, they'll paint the bubbles and then stamp them on the paper. And all of this is really supportive for their exploration and their need to figure out what it does. What is it capable of? Why do we use this? Why is it here? Why does it feel like this? Um, I think that a big part of the message from her is that making sure you approach her curiosity and her need to explore from a place where you can kind of feel in control, I guess. And not that we should be controlling our children, but we need to learn how to regulate our own emotions, our own feelings, so that we can support our children. Sometimes our kids just need a moment to move through their emotions, and just the same for us. And it's okay if you need to set time aside to have those mommy moments where you feel like you're going to fall apart, but know that if you ground yourself and you become really connected, you're going to be able to move through this season much easier and with a little more support than you would if you weren't connected. If you have any more questions about that, Shayla, feel free to send me a message because I'd be happy to help clarify any of that for you. Okay, and moving on to Adriana. I have seen Adriana a few times for her own healings. And here she has asked, let's connect to my oldest, Toma. He's 11 and a half years old. He keeps telling me his forehead hurts. He does not complain about it. He just tells me about it when he does school in front of his computer, or he gets upset or angry. It can hurt him a lot. Also, he told me the forehead ache is with him almost all the time. I didn't take it too serious until now, but he keeps saying it. He usually has a glass of lemon water and celery juice every morning. Okay, so as soon as I read that, what showed up for me was when a pirate wears an eye cover, he actually has one of those over his third eye. And his third eye is blocked. He is very intuitive and his guides are trying to get through to him, but with this block, he's having a physical reaction. Electronics will actually exacerbate the issue because they strengthen the block that's there. It feels like he's afraid to fail after asking him because I actually took him up to do a healing and I really wanted to know more. And so I connected to his higher self, and he just was saying that he's afraid that he doesn't know how to be normal. He actually doesn't even know what normal is because I asked him, what is normal? Like, why is that so important? And he said, I don't know what normal is. And he can't actually fit in or be normal because it's not in his DNA. It's not who he is. It's not who his soul is. So I did a chakra healing on him. His team came in and we actually worked on his whole energy body. First, we used a huge gust of wind and we blew a lot of like the stagnant energy, a lot of the negative energy that has been hanging out for him, and we transmuted that. After removing that energy that's been hanging out, we also were able to remove the eye patch. What was really fascinating is that under the eye patch, he didn't really even need it. His third eye was fully closed to the point where you couldn't even see it. It was just almost, it had taken the form of a human and it was just skin. So what we did is we all bound together and sent him a tremendous amount of light to his third eye. After that happened, one of his team members came from his head and connected his head back to the light. Either that's his highest self, the energy of God, and from the angels. And when he connected that energy, we helped move the energy through each chakra and activated each chakra and hopefully cleared some of the things that have been hanging out there. We also helped ground his energy. So right now he is fully connected and in line with his soul's energy as well as the earth's energy. Something that could help is talk to him about what intuition is, talk to him about energy, talk to him about what he's feeling, because these senses are really important for him. His messages come to him as a feeling. He's clairsentient. He's also clairvoyant. So he sees things. And I think that he kind of out of desperation closed his third eye because he didn't want to be out of the norm or special in any way. He just wanted to fit in. And in doing so, this is actually causing him physical pain. I think what's going to be really helpful too is I know that you're taking Nikki's course right now, and that's the soul reading method. I know that's going to help you connect to energy and have a deeper and broader perspective of what is available to us. I think that this course is not only going to benefit you, but it's going to benefit your children too. So don't be afraid to teach your kids what you're learning. This is going to be really helpful for your kids to feel that quote unquote normalcy that they're looking for, because these kids that are coming in right now, they're not normal compared to what the kids have been like, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 100 years ago. They're different, and they're different for a reason. And it's a really special calling that they're here to do and to fulfill and help the earth elevate its frequency. So allowing him to feel like it's okay for him to be intuitive and to lean into these gifts that he has, that's going to be something this is a part of your journey with your children, and it's really beautiful. Paul, we are going to read about him. And for my youngest, Paul, 9.5 years old, it's quite a struggle to have him focus for school and homeschool. I wish he would be more open to learn, and it's very hard to have him focus. The interest seems very small. When he does homeschool with my husband, they usually manage to do more. When he's with me, I just doesn't get through to him. With his extra weight, is there anything emotional that could be solved through energy work? We are working on eating more plant-based. We are progressing. So good for you for doing that with your kids in the first place and recognizing that you can help shift some of that with the plant energy. As for what came through for Paul is he said that he needs more hands-on activities to learn. Building motorcycles or car engines. He would do well with a male mentor who offers classes in building or engineering or shop, something like that. They showed me it's almost like a trade school or a trade program. And it may not even exist yet, but you may be able to find somebody who could mentor him, who would be interested in helping him. And it might start as 1 day a week. And he goes there and he just shadows them and watches how they do things and what it looks like when they do things. But taking him out of the traditional schooling is going to help him learn in the long run. So he has a really hard time putting all of his focus just onto paper, pencil, a computer. He really learns through tactical life experience. And something like engineering or shop is going to also teach him math. He's going to learn how to continue to read instruction manuals. He will learn how to work in a team environment and how to come to resolutions for things, how to fix things, how do things operate. So I think that's going to be really beneficial for him, creating that environment of learning for him. Now, when it comes to his weight, he showed me that he uses food for comfort. It feels like he may not have been able to have had as much comfort as his sensitive soul needed when he was a child. And he found the consistency of support in food. I am no way shaming you, because as parents, holy smokes, we are up against a lot. And some of our children need more than we can give because we are already tapped out in our everyday lives, in what is being asked of us every day, just to show up and be who we are and support our family and be a mother and be a wife. And it feels like he also knows this. He doesn't want you to feel guilty hearing this. He wants you to just have a deeper understanding of what this connection is that he has. So, open conversations with him about what healing foods can do for his body, how they safely support him physically and energetically. Teach him about the energy and how to comfort himself with energy through meditation, through acts of joy, playing. healing, using high vibrational foods, art, self expression, time in nature, and hiking. If you can kind of plant the little seeds, those little seeds are going to start to grow. And if you can offer him some time away from kind of hitting the books and looking at the screen and really learning hands on, he's going to be able to step out of it feels like he's being pushed. There's almost like a flow of energy and he feels like he's not able to gain his footing in it. So if you can take him out of that flow and let him decide, give him a little bit more control over what it is that he wants to learn, where does he want to learn? And then he's going to be more open to hearing how he can comfort himself using other tools. It's almost like he doesn't have the space to absorb or take in what is going on right now. He really needs you to just, he's just telling you it's going to be okay, mom. I'm going to be okay. And we can do this in a different way. And it doesn't have to look like what everybody else is doing. It doesn't have to look like traditional schooling. It can actually be a lot more fluid and we can have a little more control over it. And all of it will be successful at the end. But he really needs to have that fluidity and taking a little more control and feeling more empowered in his journey to learning, schooling, and also healing himself. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. So go ahead and email me, Adriana, with any questions, and I look forward to hearing from you. I hope that resonated. Okay, and I have one from Julie. I couldn't get Julie's message up on my computer for some reason, so I'm going to read it from my phone. I was diagnosed with ADHD in high school almost 20 years ago. It was manageable until my oldest was 9 months old. It got more unmanageable to deal with my spaghetti brain the more kids I have, which, as you know, I have an 11-month-old, a 2-year-old, and an almost 5-year-old. I know routine would be so good, but I literally don't know how to. I've tried and I can't seem to stick to it or remember to it. And that goes with other areas in my life as well. My 5-year-old is the sensitive soul, and I feel my shortcomings are showing some signs of affecting her. I also notice how she tries helping out with the babies or with cleaning, and I love it. But I also don't want to cause her or the others any childhood trauma. I am an empath, and when I see my kids or husband struggling emotionally, it's all I can focus on. And then I know that's not good either to bombard them with my feelings. The other side of the coin is that my husband struggles with PTSD. And ever since a frightening on the job scare last year, he really has withdrawn, and that affects them too. He sees counseling, just got back from another PTSD retreat, but what can we do to help our kids thrive more, having one parent with PTSD and the other with ADHD? Are they needing, what are they needing from us, and how do I fill that need in a way that sticks? Okay. So, Julie, I think that what's most important for you right now is that you know your children chose you as their mother for a reason. You and them have soul contracts, and as a family unit, you all have contracts. And so know that you are all here to heal together. It's not all on you, it's not all on your husband, and it's not all on your children. It's actually a group effort. You all have a part to play in this healing for one another. Um, the thing that came through the strongest for you, the strongest message is that this really isn't about your kids. This is really about you. And when you say you're an empath, I'm an empath too. And so I totally understand what that feels like. It can feel like you have no control over it. It can feel like it takes over completely, and as if you can't have any clarity of thought because you're bringing in so many other people's emotions as an empath. Know that there actually is a way to move forward in this life as an empath with some solidarity, and being empowered and not being at the mercy of everyone's emotions. So, what you need to be able to do is kind of really focus on yourself. Do the energy healing that you feel called to. I know that you have asked me about healing before, and I think that's a really important piece to your motherhood journey. I think it's going to be empowering. I think you're also going to teach your daughters how to be empowered through what you learn as you start to step into a stronger version of yourself and as an empath. You are highly intuitive. You're also very loving and such a wonderful mother. And it's just really important for you to know that sometimes being the best mother doesn't mean that you have to do all the things for your kids. It actually means that you need to do all the things for yourself. The best thing that I did for my kids is step into this healing journey and connect to my intuition and follow this work because this is my soul's mission. I had this innate sense that if I were to not do this work, to not take the courses, to not read the books, to only fit inside this box of what I was expected to fit into, that I would, one, wither and die because physically it started taking a toll on me through my eczema. Two, I wouldn't be teaching my children how to follow their own life's purpose and their own dreams. And three, that I could teach my children the tools that I'm learning now. I can teach them intuition. I can teach them the big woo woo things as I feel it's appropriate because I'm their mom. Like they are half me. And because they're in my energy all the time, we homeschool and I'm the main parent. We spend the most time together. I have a huge influence over them energetically and mentally. So the way that I am, my mental state, my knowledge, my wisdom is equally as important as their state. And we can put our kids in all the extracurricular activities. We can find them the finest schools. We can give them all the treats, but that's not going to resolve the foundational part of how important it is that their mom is well. I'm not saying that you're unwell at all. I'm just saying that you are being asked to level up. And right now, it feels so uncomfortable. And you are not alone because we are all being asked to level up right now. And it is scary. It can feel so lonely. We can question everything. We can wonder if we have the financial means to support ourselves in this journey. But I promise you that as soon as you start to make these intentional decisions of healing and leveling up and really nourishing yourself, your soul, your physical being, you're going to find that things are going to start aligning and they're all going to come into place. They're actually showing me, and it sounds really cheesy, but it's like a yellow brick road. And as you align with this road, as soon as you step onto it, the bricks are just going to fall into place. It's not going to be a lot of work anymore. It's not going to feel heavy. You're not going to feel overwhelmed. And really cool part is that you're going to be able to take on more things for yourself and be able to support your home life because you're going to feel a sense of freedom. And with this sense of freedom comes a sense of hope and comes a faith. And you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to see the reason why you're all here. And then you're going to be able to run on that road. And you're just going to be you're going to be so lit up. There's just going to be so much joy available to you. Another part of this question was, my husband wants to get tattoos for all of my daughters. Can you see if there's any visual symbol that represents each child? Um, so Iris immediately came to me as a daisy flower, and I feel like she's very fairy-like. There's a lot of flowers. She was showing me a floral crown, and it's not an iris flower, but she wants a daisy flower because this is very feminine. It supports her divine feminine energy, her lightness, and her lovingness too, like her loving heart. Noelle showed up and she was showing me snowy mountain caps. This is kind of in alignment with her name and the season, but also this is very much a part of who she is. She may be a bit more of a pillar of strength and mountainous in her ways. Capri, she was showing, it's so funny because she didn't come through with something really clear, but she kept showing me the a beautiful calm ocean or a bay, kind of like an outlet. And then she was showing me big boulders, very similar to what we saw on the coast of Italy. And she was sharing with me that she was showing me the sun. So she's very warm and calm. And she really, whatever you take from that scene and whatever feels right for Josiah in a tattoo is exactly what it should be. Okay, I think that's it for you, Julie. If you have any questions, Julie, feel free to message me. I'd be happy to offer some clarity. And I also felt like if you want to talk about joining the Aligned Mamas mentorship, I feel like that would be a really great step in the right direction for your healing. And we can try and figure out what that looks like with you watching the girls and setting aside the time to be able to do this for yourself. If it's not with me, there are definitely other healers who can help support you in your journey to healing and exploring your intuition. And I'd be happy to share with you some of the people that I've used and also guide you in the direction that you need. Hey, you guys, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so grateful for this beautiful community, and these live readings have been so much fun. When the mentorship begins, which is February 6th, I don't know. You're welcome, Amy. I don't know if I'm going to be offering these again until probably late April or May, because my time will be used in offering support for the mentorship. But if you're interested in the mentorship, please go check it out. I'm really excited to work with you mamas and offer you some beautiful intuitive guidance. Sending you guys all the love. Goodbye.